Last night we stayed in Natural Bridges National Monument. There was no one here, so we just decided to camp here. Pretty small campground, only 13 spots, and no rigs over 26 feet. So it's kind of nice how quiet it is, and just small vans and trailers that would be here. And right now, Wiley's finishing up the dishes, and Maisha and I are just gonna start walking towards the exit of the park, and then he's gonna pick us up once he's done getting the van all ready. So Maisha can get into some per miles. Like we said before, we do love national parks and monuments, but dogs aren't allowed on any of the trails. So it always makes it a tough day for us to get her exercise in and still be able to see everything we want to see. So because she didn't get too much action yesterday, she's the priority first thing this morning, because if you are going to travel with a dog, you got to make sure that they get their fun as well. But these are the campsites. They're pretty primitive. There's no running water or hookups. It's just a picnic table and a small paved spot. There is tent sites as well. Natural Bridges is in the middle of nowhere, so if you are coming out here and you spend the day until it gets dark, it's a great little campsite. And with your access pass, it's half off, so it's only $7 for the night. Today, our plan is to leave Natural Bridges and head north. We're gonna go through hike crossings, cross the Colorado River, and then go see Goblin Valley State Park. A lot of people have been recommending it. Friends that we know and just random people along the way have said, have you gone to Goblin Valley State Park yet? So we're gonna go check out that, and if we can get camping tonight, we might just stay in the state park. It's been a while since we've gotten a shower. We were just talking about how we've seen maybe 10 cars in the last 3 days. We've been in Valley of the Gods, then we went through the Monkey Dugway. Like yesterday, we spent the whole entire day in Natural Bridges Monument, and now we're going through Height to cross over the Colorado River to get to Goblin Valley, which is a state park. And it's been pretty remote, and it's been pretty nice.
From what I understand, there's really two ways from where we were coming to get to the north end of Lake Powell. One is the scenic route, and the other is you can take a boat across. We haven't taken the boat across, but I definitely recommend the scenic route. It's crazy beautiful going through these valleys and mesas and canyons.
Yeah, it's been so remote, and it's been so nice to have no traffic and no people. We're on the way to Goblin Valley, and this is actually in the mountain. It's a gas station.
See what I drilled into it.
So we just got to Goblin Valley State Park, and it is windy, but we're just gonna walk around, see the goblins. The park passes for 2 days, so if we don't get to see everything today, we'll pop in tomorrow morning as well. And because it's a state park, Maisha can be with us, so she's gonna get to walk around and see all the little rock features as well.
We've seen toadstools, we've seen hoodoos, but the goblins are on a whole different level. There is a ton of them.
So this part of the trail well, it doesn't even have trails. They basically just let you free for all through this section of Goblin Valley and walk around and see all the rock features. You could probably play around in here for days. Pretty cool.
So if I had to guess, I would guess that all these little goblins used to be much bigger goblins, like what you see behind me on that wall, because it kind of looks like the exact same type of erosion is happening all along that wall as the shapes that you see over my shoulder and behind me, all the little goblins. Pretty wild stuff.
This area of the park is called the Valley of Goblins, which is 3 square miles and containing thousands of hoodoos, which were created by a process called the spheroidal weathering. Basically, these rocks are made of siltstone, shale, and sandstone. The siltstone and the shale are a lot softer than the sandstone, and with the combination of wind and water and erosion, these formations are created. Mother Nature is pretty fantastic.
We've been wandering around Goblin Valley for probably an hour or so now, and if you haven't been here before, definitely worth checking out. It's not a big park, and what's really cool about it is they let you just wander amongst all these different rock formations, and it really is a valley just full of goblins. So do yourself a favor if you're here, get out of your car. You can see them from your car, but it's 10 times better if you wander around and kind of get to touch and feel, if you will. The surface is sand, the rocks are sandstone, and you can just envision all of the erosion that's been happening over millions of years, creating a really interesting space. The ground is kind of flat and soft, and the rocks are hard as rocks.
These rock formations behind me are called the Three Sisters, so they're a little bit of ways from the Goblin Valley, but the easy walk, quarter mile to get to them. We just left Goblin Valley State Park. It was a bit windy, but we still got to see everything. We spent a couple hours there just exploring, looking at the goblins or hoodoos, whatever you want to call them. And then we left the park and we're staying on some BLM land tonight. I was trying to show everybody what it looks like out there, but it is so windy that I'm just gonna stay inside. And tomorrow we're on our way to Little Wild Horse Canyon for some slot canyon hiking. So we just woke up and finished breakfast, and we are in the San Rafael Swell area. And today we're gonna go check out some slot canyons, the Little Wild Horse Canyon. And what we've been doing on days that Maisha can't go with us, and just because I don't know what the slot canyon's going to be like, we're not going to bother taking her. Starting to walk towards the location that we're going to go hiking, just so she can get a couple miles in, and then she'll siesta pretty much until we get back from our hike today. This morning it is 42 degrees and sunny, and we just got to Little Wild Horse Canyon, and we're gonna try to hike a slot canyon for the first time.
It's an 8-mile loop, easy to moderate hike, and doesn't require any gear, so we're gonna give it a go.
Yeah, so we're gonna see if this is something we like. If it's something we really dig and we're into, maybe we'll add canyoneering to our repertoire. So we are gonna do the counterclockwise loop and go out going into the Little Wild Horse Canyon, and then on the way back we're gonna go through Bell Canyon.
Little Wild Horse is about 4.1 miles and Bell Canyon is about 3.9, so just shy of 8 miles round trip.
So let's go check it out.
Where the sun doesn't shine in this canyon, the ground is rock hard and covered in ice and snow. And over there, it's a nice warm sun feeling.
This is just something you don't get in the Northeast.
Negative. This is the entrance to the Slot Canyon, as you can see. Gets narrow pretty quick. This is new territory for us. I'm excited. We wore warm jackets, figuring it would get pretty chilly. This is what we call the Maisha disqualifier. It's a good thing we chose not to bring her in a slot canyon, which seems like it's common sense, but we like to bring her everywhere we can as long as it's safe and it's not going to get her scared. Yeah.
So we weren't able to go to Antelope Canyon because it is on native land and everything is closed right now due to COVID. But I know the canyons aren't as tall and as grand. However, I'm pretty excited about this hike. Still Slot Canyon, still beautiful, and no crowd, which is exactly what we like.
So here's the junction. We're about a half a mile in to the entrance trail. Little Wild Horse Canyon to the right, Bell Canyon to the left. So we are going to enter into Little Wild Horse Canyon and come out Bell Canyon here. Beginning of Little Wild Horse Canyon.
What makes the sun go to sleep every night, and what's it dreaming of?
What do you think of this hike so far?
It's pretty cool.
They say out in the desert, every time it rains, there's high probabilities of flash flooding. And I can't even imagine what the water coming through here looks like and feels like and sounds like. I don't think I'd want to be anywhere near it.
It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder. Ooh, I wonder. How come the trees gets undressed when it's cold?
It's not Antelope Canyon, but it's free and no one else is here.
This is cool.
They call this part the Snack Canyon because it gauges how many snacks you've been eating while you've been in your van.
We can definitely have more snacks.
Is it getting narrower ahead? I see you like tucking in your shoulders as you walk.
How come the stars come to shine when it's dark? From so
Got some
far
obstacles.
away, show us where we are. It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Ooh, I wonder. Ooh, I just wonder.
This is so cool.
It really makes me wonder.
So we are about 2 miles into our 8-mile loop hike. We were in some pretty narrow slot canyons on the Little Wild Canyon side, Horse Canyon side, and it just opened up, so we're soaking up the sun, enjoying a little bit of warmth before we get back into those narrows. We love traveling with our dog, but it's always hard to figure out when she should come with us on an adventure and when she shouldn't. She is getting up there in age. She still does pretty decent hikes with us, but I think for her age and where she's at in life, I wouldn't recommend our dog coming on this hike. If you had a younger pup, they could probably totally do it. But already some of the rocks that you've had to climb over, and with her being afraid of heights, she would not like this hike, so I'm glad that we left her back in the van. Oh wow. That is massive rock. We're trying to find t-shirt weather, but clearly we are not good at that. This adds a little bit when you got snow and ice when you're trying to climb up the rock. Wiley's doing it way more graceful than I did it. So we have about a mile left of Little Wild Horse Canyon, and this side of the canyon does not get any sun. So we're currently walking in snow and ice, but so far everything's doable. A couple of steps up have been slick, but you can definitely still do it, so that's good.
This is not vacation weather.
It's not a vacation, it's a lifestyle. And it's way better than being stuck in an office all day. I'll take the cold weather any day over that.
Fine. So we made it to the halfway mark. Just got to the trail marker for the Bell Canyon portion of the hike.
So we have about a little less than 2 miles on an actual 4x4 road or mountain biking road, which is wide open. It's nice because we're back in the sun because it is chilly today and windy as well.
Snowy.
And then after about 1.8 miles, we'll pop back into Bell Canyon, heading back to the trailhead. We just finished behind the Reef Road section, and now we're heading back towards the van on the backhand side of Bell Canyon.
A little less than 2.5 miles to finish the hike, and looking forward to the views. Back in the canyon.
This time, Bell Canyon. So far, Bell Canyon hasn't been too tight of slot canyons, but still just seeing how the rock formations are and how it opens up into this huge, tall canyon walls is really pretty.
made it. Just came out of Belt Canyon. There's our sign from the beginning. Short half-a-mile walk out, and we're done. All right, first Slot Canyon hike was a success. Just finished up a 8-mile round trip loop.
It was pretty awesome. I really enjoyed it. Nothing too technical. I'd probably rate it at an easy scale, but it was a nice introduction to the Slot Canyons, and other than a couple obstacles, maybe 3-4 feet high, nothing too major.
Yeah, a little bit of scrambling, nothing crazy. Canyons were both what I would call very dry. In the areas of the canyon where they weren't getting sun, there was definitely frozen ground and some ice. I slipped and fell in one section, but I caught myself. But you gotta be careful. But there was no standing water or water that we had to wade through or anything like that.
And I'm sure in the summertime it's a gorgeous hike because the canyon walls are steep enough in parts that you get a nice breeze and shade. So I'm sure it's probably totally different feel in the summertime.
So in total, it took us just almost exactly 4 hours to do the 8-mile loop. It was relatively easy.
And I would recommend, if you only have a day in this area, to come and do this hike. It's at the end of the road where Goblin Valley State Park is. Come here in the morning, do this hike. It'll take you 4 to 6 hours, and then go to Goblin Valley and enjoy walking around there, because when we were there yesterday, it only took us a couple hours to walk through, and both are definitely worth seeing.
And they're so close to each other, it's like, how can you not? So even if you don't have time for the 8-mile loop, walk into
Little Wild Horse Canyon, and you can go in a couple miles, and say if you only have 2 hours, go in a couple miles, explore. It does get really narrow, so you get the Slot Canyon feel, and then just do an out and back. But still, come down here and check it out, because it was really cool.
Definitely.
Hi, baby. How was your nap? Oh, yeah. Did you have a nice nap? Yeah? This is what you gotta deal with when you're in Utah. These freaking traffic jams.
Smell them not bad, too.
Don't you cross. You stay there, lady. Listen, ladies. Let's keep it off the road, okay?